And now we are back and we are subtracting negative numbers this time. So if we go back to our original problems here, notice I've changed them to subtraction. We are going to start with 6 as where we are starting, because that's our problem. It says that we're starting with 6, but we're subtracting 4. So let's bring in 6 positives. Again, all numbers are positive unless they tell us otherwise. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoops, 6, there we go. And then it says that we are going to take away 4, or we are going to subtract 4. So if we take away 4, we can 1, 2, 3, and 4. We can just take these 4 items and remove them. If we delete these, what are we left with? That's the easiest way. And you guys have done this countless times in the past. You guys know that 6 minus 4 is going to be 2. Now, what happens whenever we start with 0? We have nothing to start with. So we need to take away 4. How can we take away 4 whenever we have nothing to take away from? Well, in the previous video, we talked about how if you add a positive and a negative, that's 0. Do I still have a 0 on the right-hand side? Yeah, I have a positive and a negative. That adds to 0. Can I take away 4 in this particular scenario? No, I only have 1. I need to bring in some more zeros. So let's bring in some more zeros. There's 2 zeros, 3 zeros, and now 4 zeros. Do I have 4 positives that I can take away? Because remember, that subtraction means to take away, and we're taking away, what are we taking away? We're taking away 4, and those 4 are positive unless we're told otherwise. So now I have these 4 that I can take away. So let me go ahead and take those away. What am I left with once I remove those? Well, the answer is 4 negatives. So I need to write out my answer and say, well, the answer here is a negative 4. I hope that makes sense. Let's try another example. Here I have a positive 12, so I'm actually starting with something. But I am adding a negative 5. So if I have positive 12, that's 2, 4, 6. You know, I'm going to cheat. Let's just copy these. There we go. There we go. There's 12. Okay. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. I've got a positive 12, and I'm adding. Oh, looks like we snuck in an addition problem. Okay, so here's my addition problem that we are going to be adding. What are we adding? We're adding 5 negatives. So let's get our 5 negatives in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that we have our 5 negatives with our 12 positives, we need to make those zeros. Remember, I don't like counting zeros, so I like to collect these together and then not count them at all. Since I'm not counting these, I'm going to move them off to the side. Whoops. I'm going to stick them all in a big pile, and then we're just going to get rid of them. Oh, no, I lost track. Oh, yep, this one was with that one. Okay. So there we go. All those are together, and we're going to remove them. Well, what am I left with? I'm left with 7. What kind of 7? Well, it's 7 positives. So do I need to put positive 7? No. I don't need to put a positive 7 because all numbers are positive unless we specify otherwise. So let's look at our next problem. We have 4 minus negative 8. Okay, well that seems easy enough. We're going to start with 4 positives. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we need to take away 8 negatives. Wait a second, we don't have any negatives. We need to bring in some negatives But we can't bring in negatives because that will change the amount that we have. So let's bring in some zeros instead. How many zeros are we going to bring in? Well, we're going to have to bring in 8 of them. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. Okay, so that's 4 negatives. Do I have 8 negatives that I can take out? Not yet. That's okay though. We can add more zeros. Watch this. I'll just copy all these again. And now I have a bunch of negatives that I can take out. So let me take out my 8 negatives. I'm going to set them off to the side. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now if I get rid of these, what do I have here? I have nothing but positive numbers. I don't need to pair any zeros, but I need to count how many positives I have. I know that I have 4 positives in the left column, and look, I have another 8 positives on the right column. So that's 4 and 8. If I combine those together and I count them all out, that will give me a total of 12. So wait a second. When I subtracted a negative, that worked exactly the same as adding a positive, didn't it? If I go down here and I just put a plus sign, that works exactly the same. Guys, we've been doing that for years. 4 plus 8 is 12. We knew that. So anytime we see this minus a negative, we need to think about that more like we're adding, because that's what really happens. We're subtracting a negative, but it ends up looking like addition. Let's try some more of these. How about a negative 4 minus 2? Okay, well that's easy. We're going to start with our 4 negatives. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is equal to negative 4. Then we're going to take away 2. 2 what? 2 positives. I don't have 2 positives. I got to bring them in. I know. It gets boring sometimes. But now that I have 2 positives, I can take those away. Look at this, guys. If I take away these 2 positives, let me go ahead and delete these. We are going to have our total amount. Do we have any that we have to pair together? No. So we just count our total of negatives. How many negatives do we have? Well, we have 6 negatives, so our answer is negative 6. Our next one's going to be kind of the same thing. This is crazy. I can't believe this works like this. So I'm going to start with negative 4. So I'm going to bring in 4 negatives. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we get those grouped together a little bit. Now I need to subtract 9 positives. I don't have any positives. Let me go ahead and bring some zeros in. We've done this once or twice, haven't we? So there's 1 0. There's 2 zeros. Here's 3 zeros. You know, I'm going to copy these, make more zeros. So go ahead and clone these. So there's some more zeros. So here's some more zeros. I got a bunch of zeros here. So do I have enough that I can take away? Do I have 9 that I can take away? I don't. I only have 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and try some more. Let's get some more zeros in here. Now I've got a bunch of zeros. Okay, now that I have a bunch of zeros, let's go ahead and take away 9 of those positives. I'm going to stack those up in the right-hand corner. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow. Let's get rid of those because we are taking those away. That's what subtraction means. Now that we've taken those away, we have to count how many we have of what. We don't have anything to pair, so we don't have any zeros. So I have 4 negatives and 9 negatives. So whenever I start off with a negative 4 and I subtract, I actually get a larger negative number. And that makes sense when we think about it. If we start off at -4 on a number line, so like this right here is a number line, and right here is our -4, and we subtract, aren't we going to go this way? So we should end up with a larger negative number. So whenever we count all these together, guys, we're going to end up with what? That's right, -13. 13 negatives. All right. Guys, I hope this has really helped you. I'll catch you on the next video. Stay safe.